Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Engines. So today, this is the second time I've recorded this because, of course, I had my headphones connected last time. So it's going to make it hard for you to hear me, so the audio didn't record. Anyway, so we're talking about Radiant Black, baby. Heck yeah. This book, these comics are amazing. A little backstory with personally my journey with these books and also like everything behind them because you might not know a lot about them, and that's okay because I'm here. That's what I do. Start showing connections. Um, so this, I don't know if I'm gonna go every single issue in terms of videos past this video. This is gonna be talking about issues 1 through 12, like where we're at story wise so far. There's gonna be some spoilers, big heavy spoilers. Um, Giving some tidbits about characters and stuff like that and different events that happen. And yeah, so I don't know if I'm gonna do issue by issue or just wait for volumes to come out, but just so you guys know where we're at. Ah, So, um, I had volume one, issues 1 through 6. I got it for, I think, it was either Christmas or something. I had some extra money thrown around somewhere, and I got it through Amazon. That was volume one. That was issues 1 through 6, and it's a really great series. What's really cool is the whole startup for it. The main character at first is the character Nathan Burnett. He's a failed writer. He's a millennial. He's about my age, somewhere late 20s, early 30s, somewhere around there. And he just kind of on his luck. He's having to move back in with his parents, which is like every person's nightmare usually. Um, and he has not really had a lot of success writing. He had a little bit for a while, and then something happened. I'm pretty sure this is a story element that he. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and that's fine. But I thought there was something about he wrote something that was like somehow similar to something else, and kind of find out he really did not plagiarize it. It just happened to be similar to a similar story, but somebody made some accusation about him plagiarizing, and it basically blacklisted him or something like that. Something happened, and so he's back home, in his hometown. He doesn't want to be there. He hates being there. He doesn't know anybody. He feels awkward around all the people he used to know that are kind of still there. His parents are decent to him, but in general, he's like, oh, why am I here? Um, and he One night goes out drinking with a friend, Marshall, who he used to know when he was a kid, teenager. And he comes back into town, and Marshall is kind of the complete opposite. He is more aimless, is a lot more of a dick, a lot more sarcastic, kind of more of like a Star Lord, Iron Man esque, more than kind of veering more towards the Steve Rogers that Nathan Burnett is more like. Anyways, they're drinking and stuff. They go out, and he finds the Radiant, which is the little symbol that's on his chest there, if you can see that there. It's a little black hole, and basically it's there to touch it. And he touches it, and it transforms him into Radiant Black. But of course, he's drunk and like completely scared out of his mind, so his powers go all wonky. He has control over gravity. Each of the heroes we've shown so far, Radiant Pink, Radiant Yellow, Radiant Red, all have a certain specialty. They have some similar abilities that connect the four of them, but they all have their own specialty. His is of course gravity based, and so he like derails part of a train, and like the cops and stuff are all a part of it and whatever. And he just in general just screws up. And so the first few issues are him kind of learning the ropes, being a hero and whatnot, and Marshall supporting him and everything. But you can also get like a sense of him being like a little jealous, like he wishes he could be the hero too. And we'll delve into that later. But so we have a really big shakeup though that happens later on. Before I get to that real quick, so the people, this has a really good pedigree to it in terms of its writing and its art and all of it. So Kyle Higgins and Melissa Flores, who worked on some of the Boom Studios comics and also on Battle for the Grid and some of the more like recent Power Ranger stuff, are involved with this. This is his baby, his like idea, Radiant Black. Um, it's very Toku inspired. It's very like Sentai Rider inspired, and I like it because it takes the like more childlike tone out of it and lets it breathe naturally as a book, where it's not held back by, oh, you can't swear, you can't say shit, you can't say fuck, you know. And I like that. It gets pretty nitty gritty and down to like how much it sucks, kind of life kind of sucks sometimes. I like that. I like that it's very realistic and grounded that way. Um, but eventually, in that first volume I read, issues 1 through 6, somewhere in there, we're introduced to Radiant Red. A lot more of like, of course she's red, so of course she's the hot-headed one, if you will. Her name's Satomi. Her backstory is that she has like a fiance that she's gonna get married to, and something about he just didn't have enough money to like make their wedding as awesome as he wanted to, so he gets involved with like the Yakuza essentially, and isn't able to pay them back, and they're gonna come, break his kneecaps and blah blah blah. Well, she finds a radiant and becomes radiant red, and it's more affected by her emotions. It has these like concussive blast type things, like Havoc or Cyclops kind of thing, and also can put on this like giant power armor type thing, like a hard light construct, kind of like Green Lantern type thing. Um, well, she's been going around like stealing money, like just straight, breaking into banks and just like taking money and shit. And so, Radiant Black goes after her. Well, she fucking demolishes him, curb stomps the shit out of Nathan, knocks him unconscious so hard he goes into a coma, and the Radiant leaves him. Marshall gets him to the hospital. The Radiant leaves Nathan, and Marshall touches it and takes it, and for himself, and is pissed at that time. He goes straight for Satomi, and he kind of kicks her ass a little bit. But what's cool is he starts activating more of the abilities available within the Radiant Black power set because his emotions are on high. And I like seeing that too. That was kind of cool, seeing a more passionate, unhinged version of a hero. And what would happen if like somebody like Superman or whoever didn't know what their powers were when they started and they got really pissed off? Like what would happen? Um, so he doesn't become a full villain. He doesn't start murdering anybody. He gets really pissed at Stormy and she leaves. We're also introduced to two other ones, Radiant Yellow and Radiant Pink. Pink is a girl. She's a streamer. I can't remember her name offhand, but we get her backstory in one of the most recent issues, and that was really cool. She has like a partner. She's a lesbian. She has a partner. She's a streamer, Twitch streamer, and she ends up like something happens with her cat, and she like breaks her microphone, so she goes to Best Buy to get a new one, and they're all sold out because everybody's trying to be a streamer nowadays, which is funny because that reflects Radiant Black, who Marshall's trying to get social media stuff together and make money off of being a superhero. I kind of like that slaziness to it, where he's trying to make money with it and be heroic. He clearly doesn't know what he wants to do, and we'll get to that. So that's her backstory. We don't know much about Yellow, just that he is an older black gentleman who works at the Best Buy, and he works in the repair place, and he's at a repair the microphone for her. She goes with him eventually, and that's where he brings her to her Radiant, and that makes her Radiant Pink. And he tells her the reason he brought her there is that he had a vision of that. His Yellow Radiant made him see a vision of her getting her Radiant, so he wanted to help her. And so those are the ones we're introduced to. There's also this like assassin character that glitches all over the page and everything. It's kind of cool. Let me see if I can find him. Yeah, there we go. There's some artwork with him right there. Kind of cool stuff. He's there in the bottom under the Krakoon. Yeah. Kind of kicking their butts. But yeah, it's really, really cool. The artwork is really good in this, and we get a lot of really good action scenes. Yeah, Yellow has his own like power set. See, it's like laser pellets there that he throws around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really cool seeing the difference in how the powers work. And how they all kind of get like forced together because of this assassin guy and other things going on in the story. And it was a really big switch up. I really was kind of surprised. Issue 5, I'm pretty sure where it was, where all of a sudden Nathan gets his shit rocked and thrown into a coma, and then all of a sudden Marshall takes over and he's pissed. That was a cool switch up. I was mad at first, kind of, but I think that was the point of it because of all the raw emotion they wrote into the scene. I really got to hand it to them. Higgins and the rest of the team working on this, Misty Flores, everybody, Melissa Flores, are doing an amazing job with the writing on it. The dialogue is visceral, organic, you gritty, you really feel how the characters are feeling, and I like that a lot. So much so that I think Radiant Red is getting her own little like side series for a little bit to give her backstory more and things of her own misadventures. Anyway, so they handle that for a while. They eventually kind of defeat the assassin guy for a little bit, basically just kind of hold him down for a while and get some information out of him. Not much that they understand. They also randomly keep speaking in this random alien language that's part of the Radiant. And it's kind of funny because it'll be like, oh, what the... And it'll have a little alien language braille shit on it. It's kind of funny. Radiant Black also is able to, one of his things, he's able to summon this big giant like mech thing out of his chest to help, and he can communicate with it too. And he also has this like super mode he goes into when he's pissed off that gives him a cape and makes him a lot stronger. So that was kind of cool. And they realize their powers can vibe with each other and they can kind of help each other. So that's really awesome too. Definitely gives a Sentai vibe or like a Ranger vibe with the colored suits and all that. So much so that in one of these issues, after they are fighting, the assassin guy Pink can teleport. That's her specialty. She teleports them accidentally, her and Black, to Japan because she was scared, and she actually teleported the other two to like Russia or some shit. It's kind of scary now, I guess. Um, and so they're there and they're like, oh, what do we do? Oh, let's get out of here, blah, blah, blah. Let's maybe get somewhere safe so we can kind of, figure out what we're going to do. And as they fly away, to Japanese guys, it translates in speech bubble what they're saying. And it's, what Sentai team was that? I don't know, dude, but they look pretty cool. That's like the reference. It's pretty cool. Just out there saying Sentai. I think that's really funny. Um, but uh, but yeah, it's a really cool setup. I think it has a lot of influence from Tokusatsu in there, but not too much where it feels like it's trying to ape it. It's just kind of a foundational thing. And it's really telling a very grounded, personal, human story with it. I'm a sucker for a superhero story balancing the everyday, personal, shit you got to deal with day to day, along with the stress of being a superhero. And I like that Marshall doesn't really know what he's doing past the original first part of it right there, where he takes over and tries to kick the shit out of Satomi for nearly killing his friend. Um, he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he's trying to get social media going, trying to make money off of it, trying to learn what these other people are, that are like him, or why they are and what their powers are. I also like how emotive the helmet is, with his eyes. There's a lot of scenes where he'll like, yeah, you can see it here. There's him vomiting out of the helmet. But yeah, you see all the like different facial expressions you can kind of do with the helmet. It's really cool. It's very like kind of Deadpool-esque, I guess you could say, but very different too. Um, but a really cool story thing happens. The most recent issue, he goes through this like 2-issue ish arc where they're gonna pull the plug on Marshall, or not Marshall. I'm sorry, on Nathan, and who's in a coma. And he's like, there's a bunch of scenes of him before this going there and talking to Nathan, even though he's in a coma. Like, man, you'd be so proud of me. I'm doing this and doing that. My power is this. My power is that. And it's really like heartfelt and sad to read. Like, it almost nearly brought a tear to my eye that he's like really wanting his friend to be, alive and okay. And so the parents were thinking about pulling the plug. And he's like, no, you can't do this. I have to figure this out. And he leaves, connects with his like inner giant robot thing, goes into this weird space called eternity. We only know is truth and eternity. There's truth and eternity. Eternity is truth. Blah blah blah. So he goes through this whole gauntlet where he like fights like a version of the assassin character in there. Learns more about him a little bit, that he's not trying to kill them, but he's trying that he doesn't even want the power for himself. He just wants to protect the Radiants, and he doesn't think they're worthy of it. Whatever. And so he essentially gets Nathan's consciousness back and brings it back to his body. But there's a time dilation where he thought he was only there for a few hours. He's been gone for 3 months in real time. So his parents thought that he just like left and gave up. He was like a piece of shit. The one girl he was working with on the social media stuff and the business side of it basically is like screw off. And we have this really good moment where the Radiant and the robot and everything keeps questioning him. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Well, I'm here to save Nathan. No. Why are you here? I'm here to save Nathan. No. Why are you here? And it keeps doing it, and it starts pissing him off. And he finally breaks down, and he has this moment where he realizes that he does love Nathan, and he sees him as a brother, and he does care about him. But the thing that hurts him being a friend with Nathan even is that he sees Nathan as a reflection of everything he wants to be. Nathan knows what he wants out of life. He knows he wants to be a writer. He knows he wants to be successful. Marshall doesn't really know what he wants to do. And I think that's really resonant. I think there's times in a lot of people's lives where you can kind of see other successful people around you and feel less just by being around them. So I like that not only does he now have Nathan's power, but he also is still, even though Nathan doesn't have superpowers anymore, he's still envious of Nathan. And I think that's really interesting. A nice take on a character for this caliber of being a superhero and having these crazy powers from space and all this stuff going on. He's dealing with his own emotional trauma. And it's really cool. And I think he basically says, like, even though that's the case, I still want to save him. And I know that I can push forward and become a hero and do better. And the thing basically is like, that's what we wanted to hear, and blah, blah, blah. And then he gets the consciousness back and brings it back to Nathan. And then we find out who Radiant Pink is also in the last few issues there too. So really good setup for the characters, really good nuanced dialogue, very gritty, very realistic, grounded stuff here. The artwork is beautiful. I could flip to any page here and you'll be impressed, honestly, by what you're seeing. There's a lot of really good scenes where they're not even transformed. There's that. There's them transforming right there, which is kind of cool. Dual transformation there. Yeah, it seems like they both transform the same way, which is kind of cool. They don't say anything to transform, but in the Supermassive crossover, which I'll do a video about with audio this time, they do have, not them, but the other two, Rogue Sun and Infernal Girl Red, have their own henshin phrases, basically, which is really cool. So I have these physical, these 3 issues, and then the rest I have digitally, just because I don't have a lot of comic shops near me that are selling Radiant Black, unfortunately. I'd love to keep getting it, but I'll probably have to keep waiting for the volumes to come out to own them physically. That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably get it digitally and physically to support both. But they deserve your money. Kyle Higgins and the team there working on it with it's Image Comics are doing fan-fucking-tastic work here. And yeah, I have my own, original Toku inspired ideas for things, Rider seasons, or my own Toku inspired heroes and blah blah. But like, that's gonna be tough to make those real. But if I can support somebody else like them or like, and the Red Fox, Immortal Red Fox, and stuff like that, I'm absolutely gonna do that. So definitely check these out. The other two, Rogue Sun, I think premieres its first episode, not first episode. It's issue 1 releases sometime in March, I'm pretty sure. Supermassive is out, so the crossovers are introducing the 2 of them, Rogue Sun and Cassia Casta, who is Infernal Girl Red, and Radiant Black is part of it as well. So it's a really fun crossover. I definitely recommend it. Recommend Radiant Black. It's so much fun. But let me know in the comments, have you guys been reading Radiant Black? Do you guys have your own thoughts about it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you in between? Do you seeing the influences? Maybe there's some things you guys saw, Easter egg wise, or little references that I didn't catch the first time reading those through. Let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you guys so much for subscribing, watching the videos today. If you're new to the channel, I am Sergeant Hooked on Henshins, also known as Zach, at Ryusoul Rider Red on Twitter. I talk about Power Rangers, I talk about Sentai, I talk about Rider, I talk about Digimon on occasion, clearly comic books now. So let me know what you guys think. Definitely subscribe for more Toku content. But as always, stay hooked on Henshins. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.